I hope everyone is doing well, and in this video I'm going to break down how you can identify a range-bound market from a price structure perspective can occur before it actually even happens. And this could be very useful for someone that is a range-bound trader, or for someone like myself who is a trend-based trader and I want to avoid these kind of market conditions because it just does not favor the trading strategy I trade. And my goal is to get into high probability setups. So I want to avoid these kind of range-bound market conditions. So let's get into it. So if you don't know what a range-bound market is, it's basically when price is sitting in a horizontal nature and it's almost sitting between, in some theories, a resistance and support. And there is no real trend occurring. So for instance, an uptrend and a downtrend looks like this. So an uptrend is where there are higher highs and higher lows. A downtrend is when there are lower highs and lower lows. And a range-bound market is where price is just sitting in a horizontal nature and is going absolutely nowhere. And in my head, it's just no man's land. I don't want to get into these market conditions. And some traders may want to get into these market conditions. So these are the different conditions in which price can kind of occur in. And we're going to talk about how we can identify and forecast that a range-bound price action can occur. So let's take an example here. Let's say price is trending to the upside. How can we identify that this uptrend is going to stop? And it's more likely going to start range-bound price action. Now, as we mentioned, an uptrend is where there are higher highs and higher lows. Now, if price decides to break the most recent higher low, this means that the uptrend has now stopped. Does this mean we're going to start being range bound? No. Price could easily start trending to the downside, and actually one of my trading strategies is actually getting into the start of a new trend. So something like this is actually a perfect position for someone like myself that likes to get into reversals. So price could easily just start trending to the downside, or it could even just start continuing to the upside, and it just decided to break this low and then starts to trend. So how do we identify that a range-bound price action will occur? So it ultimately depends on how we break this low and what happens after the low has been broken. Does it heavily retrace? This could indicate to a trader that we're more likely going to range, because it basically broke the high, right? It broke the high, broke the low, which leads to more likely a range. But if price obviously decides to continue like this, it's creating lower highs and lower lows, which means we're now trending to the downside. So number one, it's dependent on how we break this low. Are we breaking it with intent? Or are we breaking it with, let's say, a wick? Yes, a new trend is formed. It's not trending to the upside anymore, but we also did not break this low with intent. And then secondly, how do we react after the break? Did it retrace aggressively? Or did it decide to push even further down? Which indicates to me that we're actually not likely going to range, but we're likely to push further down and start a new trend. So it's number one, how we break in an uptrend's case, how do we break that most recent higher low? And then what happens after that break? Does it continue down with intent or does it retrace? So I hope you guys can see what I'm trying to say, and I hope this has been clear. Let's head on over to the charts and let's use the backtest tool, and I will talk you through what I'm seeing on the charts, and let's see if we can identify range-bound price action. So I'm going to take the replay tool and I'm going to go all the way back. I can't even see where I'm going, just for transparency, so you can see that I'm doing this without premeditating an example. Alrighty, so now in this case, we can see price broke the low and now it's pushing up. So let's take the backtest tool. Okay, so we're currently trending up. We are, as you say, would be trending to the upside, but not in a very clean manner. As you can see, there's a lot of range-bound price action that's occurring within the trend. But let's take this as an example. So currently we are, on a price perspective, we are trending. So let's see what happens. So we are trending now very well. Alrighty, we're pushing up. We have a little bit of a wick at the top of the candle, which is showing a bit of resistance. Alright, we have a strong push down, but we are technically still trending up. And now we have broken the low. Now, obviously, if you are quite new to trading, it might be hard to identify, where is the price structure low. If you guys want me to make a video on this, I can. But price has broken the low. So let me identify it for you guys. It is this inside bar. Now, price has broken the low. Now, number one, what did I say before? It's how we first break the low. And then second, it's what happens after we break that low. So now we are technically not on an uptrend, but we need to see what happens next. Now, we broke this low not with so much intent, it broke with a wick, but we need to see what happens next. Okay, price retraced. It did not break the low of the previous candle. It retraced. And if you guys, again, I'm happy to make a video on this, but as you can see on the top left, you can see the high, low, close, open of each candle. You can see the low of the previous candle was 162.649, but the low of this one is 162.659, so it retraced. The low is higher than the previous low, if that makes sense. So price basically was trending up, and then it broke the low and retraced. So this is what it looks like. Yeah, so what I expect to happen now is I expect price to become a little bit more range bound. So let's see what happens. So that's what's happened. The next few candles is range bound. and price is sitting between this high and this low. So we have identified a range that was going to occur just from these two candles. We predicted that this was going to happen. And this is very important from a trend trader's perspective, because if you do not know how to identify these range-bound markets, you could have easily ended up, hey, I'm going to take a short position over here. Everything is looking good. I'm going to target this, but you'd have just been stopped out. But maybe you're a range-bound trader, and you might have been like, hey, okay, I'm going to take this long position over here and aim for this high. Obviously, this is not what I do. I'm just giving you guys ideas. But yeah, this is why it's very important to learn how to identify these range-bound markets. For me personally, it's just an indicator that I want to see what happens with price. How do we break these highs? How do we break these lows? I want to see a clear trend starting before I enter the market to the upside. And then for this example, I'd want to see how do we break this low to look for shorts. So let's see what happens now. Okay, we've broken this high. So even again here, we broke the high, but then again, I know this might be a little bit complicated if you're not as familiar with price structure, but basically this is the low, this is the high. So basically what's happened is we were trending up, then we broke the low, retraced, and then we broke the high, and then we broke the low again. So this is very range-bound price action. And this, again, will indicate to me, let's see what happens after this. We pushed further down, but with the wick, we're pushing down, which is fine. And then did this break the low? It did, but it retraced aggressively. Broke the low, retraced. So for me, this is indicating that, again, we're going to start seeing some more range-bound action, price action. So let's see. So that's what's happened. We're just ranging. So just from seeing this price action, we were able to identify there's going to be a trending, a range-bound price action condition right here. I hope this has made sense, and I hope you were able to understand that, okay, with this video, I now know how to identify a range-bound price action. I know how I'm going to identify range-bound price action before it even actually occurs. And if you guys have any questions in regards to this, you can leave your comments down below, and I'll be happy to help you guys out. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and any other video recommendations, please do let me know in the comment section down below. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and happy trading. See you guys.